There is an issue of concern we must discuss here. Most recently, Ahmed Bola Tinubu in his broadcast said that Nigerians should ask their governors what are they doing with their locations allocated to each state. That he have increased the allocation coming to the states by over more than 100%. So what are they doing with the allocation coming from the federal force to the states? Now, if this happens to be true, now the question is for Nigerians to ask the governors, what are they doing with the resources allocated to them in different states? Which I strongly believe that the allocation to the states under Ahmed Bola Tinubu has greatly increased. Now, Tinubu is asking them, where is the grass? I think it is the position of the people to begin to ask these governors, where are the grass? What have you done with the grass, the resources accrued to the states? Now, the people of the southeastern region should be asked the same question. The grasses you have received, the allocations you have received, there has been an exponential increase in the allocation coming to the states. And eventually, Tinubu has been able to establish the Southwestern Development Commission, the Southeast Development Commission, in order to ensure equity, fairness, and balance. That I will definitely commend him for taking that action. You see, when we are looking at a personality, we must look at the holistic approach of that personality. Now, it's been reported allegedly that 250 billion naira was given to the Southeast Development Commission. Possibly, I believe that might also have been extended to other regions for embarking on massive developmental stride in the particular regions. Now, the question we must ask, what are those state governors, senators doing with the resources being allocated by Tinubu's administration? When Tinubu said, hold your governors responsible, I think after a deep thought and reflection over this, I begin to ask, there is sense in the statement of Ahmed Bola Tinubu that if he have disbursed this money to the state, then he shouldn't be held responsible. It depends now on the state what they want to do with that. If they have the interest of their region at heart, then they will embark in massive infrastructure development and creating an enabling environment that will attract investors to their own region. Now, when you consider the latest development infrastructural facilities in the north, in the southwest, especially Lagos, there is massive infrastructure. The Lagos is opening up suburb regions. I mean, to attract more people, they are opening up roads in suburb. I went to an area called Lambe. You can see the road network, infrastructure facilities going on, rehabilitations. The Southwest is embarking in massive infrastructural development. Very massive infrastructural development, which eventually, if anything happens to Nigeria, they will be one of the most advantageous regions. In terms of aircraft, you saw what is happening. Over 700 and something billion have been voted to renovate the Murtala International Airport and other facilities. the Southwest are taking the advantage, the opportunity they have to open up their region for development, expansion, and development, increase economic attractions. As those regions are being opened up, you see people trooping there. You see masses buying land, developing lands, and the rest of them in those regions. Though it's been stipulated that the regions that people embark on infrastructure that will definitely, that is for blue rail and the rest of them, it definitely will be collapsed in a matter of time. So if you're building, buying land at this time, you must be very critical. You must make your findings so that at the end of the day, you will not be the one losing. Because there are areas that have been marked for massive infrastructural development. And if you happen to have procured land or you are building in those areas, definitely those buildings will be brought down. But you see Igbos building, buying massive houses and the rest of them. So what am I saying in essence is that the Lagos state, the Yorubas, are busy expanding, building massive infrastructures, strategic infrastructures that will enhance growth, economic growth, and development of their region. That is not to say that other regions could not, of course, borrow a little from what is happening. But what are other regions doing? Tinubu have been fair in that regard, despite the fact that in his cabinet or kitchen cabinets, there have not been reflection of this federal character in that regard. He eventually surrounded himself with the Yorubas. Eventually, all the parastatals, in fact, as if we are running currently the Yoruba Federation. Because the major infrastructures, the major parastatals are being controlled by the Yorubas, extractions. The reason why other regions, the North is criticizing Tinubu for that. Of course, the East has not fared better either, not even during the era of Buhari. And Tinubu said he's going to continue in the shoes of Buhari. So nothing really has changed in that regard. But that being said, my own issue of interest now lies on the massive infrastructure being embarked by the Yorubas states. The same money being given to the Southwest allocations also is being received by the Southeastern governors. The question is, what are they doing with this? We see splinter groups unleashing mayhem here and there, creating chaos, disturbances, unrest, brewing up within the Southeastern region. Is that what they are using the money to achieve? My people do say, Abacho so agomai. Abacho so agomai. So by assessment of the Southeastern governors, infrastructural development and policies that will affect the masses directly, there is nothing to show for that, except for the governor of Abia State, Oti. Unless Oti has utilized the allocations judiciously and prudently, embarking on massive infrastructural development. Now, embarking on international airports, seaports, and sundry infrastructural facilities that will enhance the capacity of Abia people to attract more investment opportunities, thereby creating good life for the people. So it's a typical example of what an acting governor, a working governor could look like. What about Anambra State? We've seen the disturbances by the state established paramilitary groups. What they are at best is unleashing mayhem, attacking people, stripping ladies of their wares. Where a youth corper, a national figure, a youth corper represents the image of Nigeria. A serving youth corper was stripped naked. And after she called on the so-called paramilitary Udogachi or whatever of empowered by Soludo, these are what they are using the common resources allocation coming to the state to do, to empower hooligans and criminals, riffraff, people who have no recourse, who have not been trained to manage security issues and concern, using intelligence gathering and the rest of them, intimidating, harassing, assaulting, molesting people. Is that what they are using the resources and allocation of the Southeast Development Commission to do? If you were to be, of course, the DG of the NYSC have written to the governor of Anambra State intimating them that the family want to take legal actions. For me, if I were to advise the family of this lady that was assaulted, that is the highest embarrassment. In fact, the Nigerian government should even take actions because this lady is considered a Nigerian lady because youth service is a national honor. So you can't just strip her naked because she demanded to know who you are, who gave you the warrant, of course. The warrant, demanding the warrant of arrest, and where you are taking them to, which is a normal conversation. That being a youth corper, the people or the LG coordinator must be aware of their whereabouts because he definitely will give account of that. That is a simple conversation that should have been understood by anyone that is trained. And you went ahead intimidating and daring her. Why should she ask tough questions? Because she is intelligent, she is a graduate. She is trained to behave and comport herself in such manner. Her question wasn't out of place. If I were to advise the legal counsel to this lady and the federal government and the DG of NYSC to serve as a deterrent to other hooligan and unruly entities or paramilitary who might attempt to assault the national pride, they have to sue Soludo, governor of Anambra State, for 20 billion. 20 billion for such assaults. Yes, let them use the money, the national allocation coming to the state. They are not using to do anything for the people. Let them pay dearly for that, so that it will serve as a deterrent to other people. Well, that is just a mere distraction. Coming back to our main focus, you now understand that Tinubu, to some greater extent, is not to be blamed. If the regions fail to use the opportunity they have and the increment in the allocation coming to the states, yes, it has been confirmed that the allocation coming to different states has been increased under the watch of Tinubu. Tinubu now asks the governors, what are you doing with the grass? The people should ask their governors, as I'm asking the governors of the southeastern region, the South-South. There have been more pronounced insecurity in the South-South region. Delta is crying. Bayelsa is raising uproar over continued invasions of the Fulanese. And you are collecting such allocations, you are collecting security votes. What are you doing with that? I saw some roads, major roads in the south region, south region, and even the southeastern region, in the worst deplorable state. I say, wow, what are they doing with the money? How are they providing infrastructures? How are they creating opportunities for economic growth and development in the region? Will Tinubu be the one to facilitate that? He said he have disbursed the money to the commissions, Southeastern Development Commission, and every other person. Allocation they receive. They couldn't deny that. So when you see what is going on in the Southwest, they have a plan, they have a goal. They have something they are targeting at. While other regions are sleeping, they are busy developing infrastructure massively to the advantage of the southwestern people, to build up more opportunities for economic growth and development, to attract people. Of course, when the more the people migrate down to the southwest, the more their generation base expands. While the southeastern people are busy constituting unrest in the states, different states. They couldn't call for summit where they could address this insecurity. Rocking Alibo. Alibo is now in ruins. It's a place being deserted, where you are hearing now is rival groups challenging themselves. How many combat skills do you learn? How can you dare? Let us come and fight. How many combat skills? Immonos combat skill ole. Maybe came and a training. Is that what is happening? Infiltration of weapons and guns in the hands of productive youths, who the government failed to create enabling environment that will give them opportunity to be meaningfully engaged. Now, Igbo, the youths of the Igbos, are now challenging themselves to kill themselves. In one combat skill, how many combat skills do you have? It has become a challenge. That what makes you a youth, Odogu, is the combat skills you have. What is the economic relevance of that? What economic advantage does that attract to the southeastern region? It's been reportedly, allegedly, I think the governor of Imo State said he's the leader of the non-government. One should have expected him to say, I am the leader of the industrial revolution. In the southeast, southeastern region is one of the most industrialized states pre the war. Yeah, pre-independence, pre-civil war. The Igbos are technocrats, the Igbos are entrepreneurs, the Igbos are ingenious. So they have massive interest and passion for development. In a whether today you will hear industrial layout, you will hear the works layout. Where are those industrial layouts today? Deserted, being converted to hotels and motels and even a dinner and this Gida Mango and the rest of them. Why not most of them have come to tell the Imolites and the entire region that they have a blueprint of economic growth and development for the region? than coming to say, I am the leader of the non-government, creating insecurity, distracting the people, and eventually siphoning the resources accrued to the people or unaccounted for. Because without security, there will not be progress. There will not be economic development and growth. So now people are now using the opportunity, the resources they have to buy guns, to distribute guns, to share among themselves, and no infrastructure, no facility, no blueprint, master blueprint, economic blueprint for the region. And thereafter, you will come back to blame Tinubu on the basis that you didn't receive the allocations allocated to the states. The Southeastern Development Commission was not giving or the resources they needed to facilitate that. You also have the Niger Delta Development Commission and the rest of it, possibly which is another resources being allocated. So, Umuigbo, who do we blame? Anyị ji aka anyị eme onwe anyị. And these political elites in the East are not honest to the people. This informs the reason why the people are not happy with them. Look at Alex Oti. Look at the admiration. Look at the support, the solidarity. Look at the goodwill he's enjoying. Is it because he's having two heads? Because people have seen he's matching his words with actions. That is going to make Abia people better than he met it. He's going to create infrastructural development that will enhance economic development and growth. And the people are seeing it. Ahụnanya ekwe. Ọwụ ị n'ọfọ ịchịrị asaa wee na-aba. Ị na-asa ịchịrị ọfọ wee na-aba. Maghị ị na-wee na-aba. So Tinubu should not be blamed. So it is time for the Southeastern region or population to begin to ask, are these people creating insecurity to destabilize the East and possibly divert the resources that should have been deployed for the massive economic development of the Southeast Commission? The essence or the reason why it has been established. Objects of Carlo, the senator, all the senators in the Eastern region, Southeastern region must be held accountable. Both the House of Reps, the traditional rulers, the governors. Let them tell the people what they are using the grass, what they are using the money to do. Because by my observation, you have not seen any meaningful representation of government in the Eastern region. We have the worst deplorable state of roads, both state and federal, unattended to, except for this massive infrastructure developments are embarked by Alex Oti of Abia State. There are people who have held the government, the people to ransom for more than 30 years. They couldn't surpass, they couldn't even attempt doing what Alex Oti is doing today. And such people are parading themselves as either statement. What a shame. Umibo, the Igbo used to begin to ask questions. If you are using me against my brother, what do we achieve at the end? Will that promote economic growth and development? It's not just about how many combat skills have you learned. What is the economic blueprint for the state? Even while you remain in Nigeria, the Southeastern region is almost becoming irrelevant. Even in Nigeria today, though some persons was reported to have said, allegedly, that they are going to make Igbos irrelevant in the Southeast at the end of the day. Possibly they could be behind the sponsored attacks insecurity, to destabilize people's economy and resources. See, businessmen are leaving the shores of the southeast, moving down to Lagos and other regions of the country. Will that be to the advantage of the region? Will that promote economic viability, development of the region? People are being deserted. There is no longer economic activities going on, booming as usual. Everybody is afraid of his life. Everybody is afraid of the unknown. People could be shot at. Sporadic shooting could be shot at people sporadically. Guns could be shot at people sporadically, even in their business premises. There is no security, there is no development. What is really happening to the Igbo people? Ndị Igbo, both home and diaspora. Does it mean you don't have a voice again? This is Nigeria, and you are becoming relevant already. Ikute ọnụ gị, etita ha aja. Our desperants could no longer come back home because of the spike of insecurity. Those who have intention of establishing facilities and businesses that will, of course, create opportunity for employment for the people are now scared. They are fleeing. They are relocating their businesses. So who should be held responsible? Definitely the chief security of the states. They have a stake in whatever happening. They understood what is happening. As Hope Uzodinma once said, that the insecurity in the Igbo state is not IPOB, should not be held responsible. That these are politically motivated. That very destructive politicians who have vested interests are the one causing unrest, buying guns for the youth. And they are killing themselves and their brothers, being paid to destroy their entire homes. Communities are deserting and the rest of them. So Uzodinma and his counterparts should be held responsible. Let him tell Ndị Igbo. Sadly, Ohaneze Ndị Igbo and the Igbo World Congress, I don't know what they represent again. Have they been reduced to toothless bulldog? Of course. Their presence is not felt. And definitely their absence could mean nothing as far as it stands now. So it behoves on the Igbos now to rise to say, no, enough is enough. Onye aghọgburu ka agbara. The Southwest is developing now. The Yoruba nation is moving fast, developing faster. The most secure region in Nigeria today is the Southwest, the Yoruba region. There are no longer spots light of insecurity attacks again. Everything now focused on the East. And some people, ndị Igbo anaghị use sense ha. Atọrọ amara ọmara, atọrọ ofeke ofewega n'ọhịa.